Hi, welcome to another edition of Rise. This is our 8th episode in this series where we're talking about rising above that level of mediocrity and being just like everybody else and becoming who it is that we're created to be in the world around us. I want you to think for a minute, put on your thinking hat and your reality colored glasses for just a minute, and let's be honest and have a one-way conversation, but at least hopefully it will provoke some thought in you about the media consumption that we have as adults. I know that as we discussed that, you're obviously watching a streaming video. So that's media consumption. Hopefully this counts as something that is helpful. It helps you grow and is useful in your journey of faith, and you're just not mindlessly watching this. And if you're mindlessly watching this right now, I'll give you a second to put your mind back in gear. Ready? Go. See? Now your mind's back in gear. And I want to talk to you honestly about what it is that we do. Because the culture that we live in, we're influenced by every type of media that we consume. Now, that's just not me saying that. That's not some preacher out of Florida just throwing that out at you. That comes via research where groups have constantly been looking at the way that media works and how we're influenced by it in our culture today. On one hand, it is a problem. On the other hand, we need to be wise as consumers as the type of media that we're allowing to pour into our lives. And so 13.61 hours per day is the number of media hours that we are being influenced by on an average day. 13.61 hours of the day. Now, a day is only 24 hours long. So you ask yourself, how can it be that much? But think about it for just a minute with me. Don't go too far off the reservation here. We listen to radio, we read print, we watch TV, it could be digital cable, it could be streaming media, it could be internet delivered messages, and so that would count electronic email, which most of us use in work environments or to communicate. It could be via text, which over the course of any given day, if your phone is like my phone, it tends to blow up with text. Maybe you use X, and if you use X and you're sending out messages or something similar to X as a messaging board or messaging center or clearinghouse, maybe you consume your news through a mobile device. Maybe you consume weather reports via a mobile device. Maybe you listen to podcasts, and that becomes your form of education and also entertainment. And so you just listen to podcasts. But when it's all said and done, the numbers in America are staggering. It's 13 plus hours a day that we're consuming some sort of media. Now, if you're below that, I think that's good news. If you're above that, I don't think that's necessarily good news. But I'm just struck by the staggering number itself. Because if you go on and do the math, you're asleep, so maybe you're not consuming media while you're asleep. So I don't know how many hours a day you sleep, but it doesn't take much to figure out that there's just not a whole lot of time in our world where we're not being influenced or pouring into our lives some sort of media. The point of this episode is not to say whether that's good or bad. I'm going to leave that for you to decide. My encouragement to you is make sure that what you're allowing to influence yourself to be healthy. Allow it to be media that's good for you, media that helps you grow, media that challenges you and stretches you. And then hopefully this does qualify as one of those. But social media platforms provide what is the largest share of media consumption for Americans in our culture today. And so the question is, how do you, as a follower, somehow rise above that as a follower and allow yourself to live a life where that media consumption can be healthier? It does not get in the way of who you are spiritually. It doesn't slow down your growth. It doesn't let you fall backwards into the pitfalls that so many in our culture fall into. How do you allow that to become a strong part of your life where it doesn't ruin your conversations, your relationships, and filter your world in such a way that you can't relate anymore? How do you rise above it? How do you become more? And so it's a challenge. There's no doubt about it. And it's a challenge that we all battle. It's a challenge that something is very real, and each and every day we have to figure out, what are we paying attention to? And so that's what we're going to talk about over the next couple episodes as we continue our look at how do we rise above being just like everybody else and step into that greatness of being who it is that God created us to be. And so this is an introduction. In our next episode, we'll dig in just a little bit deeper, and we'll learn to rise